All right, let's just dive right into it. Your smartphone. It might actually be the most dangerous casino ever created. Just think about it for a second. There's no dress code, right? There are absolutely no closing times, and there's definitely no long drive home to think about your losses. It is just endless, unrestricted access sitting quietly right there in your pocket. Welcome back to Mind Over Odds, where our core philosophy is simple. Control your emotions, control your outcomes. Today, we're going through a deep dive explainer into how modern gambling has quietly slipped into our everyday routines. And more importantly, we'll cover exactly how you can arm yourself against the psychological tactics they use to keep you hooked.
You know, there is a really stark contrast in human behavior when you completely remove physical barriers. Historically, gambling actually required effort. You had to physically go somewhere, you had to withdraw actual cash, and eventually, well, the casino closed or your friends wanted to leave, there were these natural stopping points built into the whole experience. But our new reality? It's this completely frictionless thumb economy. Your betting app lives right there on your home screen, comfortably sandwiched between your language learning app and your work emails. You can place a bet in bed at 2 in the morning or while you're just standing around on a crowded train. The friction is entirely gone. And because of that, gambling becomes this ambient background noise in our lives, rather than a distinct, planned event.
And this frictionless access has birthed a behavioral phenomenon that researchers are now calling gambling snacking. Because you can open these apps anywhere, anytime. You're no longer just betting on who wins the 3-hour game. Instead, you're placing these micro bets on the next pitch, or the next touchdown, or the next corner kick. You're frequently checking your phone throughout the day just to take little bites of action. And here's the dangerous part. This constant stream of micro bets literally trains your brain to endlessly crave intermittent dopamine rewards. You are essentially carrying a highly tuned slot machine everywhere you go, subtly conditioning your neural pathways to always be seeking out that next unpredictable hit of excitement.
So how do they make sure you keep taking those bites? Well, these corporations rely on incredibly sophisticated artificial intelligence to craft hyper-personalized push notifications. These aren't just generic broadcast messages that go out to everyone, not at all. They are calculated, manipulative hooks. The AI algorithms analyze your exact betting history, your favorite sports, even the specific times of day you're most active on your phone. Then, they serve you highly specific offers perfectly designed to trigger your fear of missing out. They act exactly like Netflix recommending your next binge watch, but instead of keeping you glued to a TV show, they are strategically nudging you toward your next financial risk.
Let me give you a real-world example of how this manipulation plays out. A major sportsbook recently sent this exact push notification to its users. The New York Mets are 6-0 since Grimace threw out the first pitch. Let's go. Now, really think about the psychology here. A fast food mascot throwing a baseball has absolutely zero statistical relevance to a professional sports game. None. But the algorithm? It doesn't care about logic. It only cares about engagement. These apps will leverage completely irrelevant, honestly kind of silly coincidences just to desperately capture your attention. They know, for a fact, that if they can just get you to open the app and smile, an impulsive bet is highly likely to follow.
Now, these tactics are incredibly effective, and the psychological severity of them really cannot be overstated. In extreme cases, your brain can become so intensely wired to anticipate that dopamine release that it creates imagined notifications. Seriously, have you ever felt your phone buzz against your leg, pulled it out, and seen absolutely nothing on the screen? Yeah, those are called phantom push alerts. Your brain is literally hallucinating a notification just to prompt you to check your phone and satisfy a craving. When technology is altering your actual physical sensations like that, you are dealing with a profoundly powerful behavioral loop.
If you found yourself caught in this loop at all, I want you to really hear this number: 23%. Following the nationwide rollout of online sportsbooks, researchers from the University of Michigan documented a massive 23% spike in Google searches for gambling addiction help. I point this out to normalize your struggle. This isn't just some isolated personal issue that only you are dealing with. We are looking at a massive population-level shift in behavioral health, and it's directly tied to the frictionless access of mobile betting.
Look, if you find yourself feeling completely overwhelmed by a betting app, I'm talking to you peer-to-peer here, you are not alone. And more importantly, this is not a personal moral failure. You're trying to navigate an environment built by multi-billion-dollar corporations that literally employ neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists for one reason: to keep you engaged. It is the predictable result of a massive structural power imbalance. The tech is inherently manipulative. It's designed from the ground up to exploit human cognitive bias and impulsivity. Fully understanding that is the absolute first step to forgiving yourself.
Which actually brings us to a fascinating concept we call the smart person paradox. Very often, Highly intelligent, highly analytical people genuinely believe they're immune to these drops. They read the stats, they follow the injury reports, they have a system, right? But they still end up losing control. Why does that happen? Because in the human brain, emotion always moves first. Always. The thrill of the risk and the dopamine of that notification hijack your emotional center instantly. Your logic simply comes in a fraction of a second later to write the rationalizing press release. You tell yourself you made a calculated statistical decision, but in reality, your emotional circuitry was already hooked.
Let's dig just a little deeper into those emotions. Because mobile apps are entirely private and completely unobserved, a lot of people aren't even betting to win money anymore. They're basically betting against the void. They open the app to escape crushing boredom, or maybe to relieve the immense daily stress of a demanding job. For some folks, especially those feeling stuck in life, a bet provides a fleeting spark of hope when everything else just feels completely flat. And because it's all right there on a phone, it leads to this secretive 1 a.m. lost chasing in the dark. It stops being entertainment and morphs into a highly private coping mechanism.
Okay, but here is where we pivot. The environment is hostile, for sure, but you are absolutely not powerless. It is entirely possible to take your power back right now. Remember that self-awareness is the very first critical crack in the cycle of digital manipulation. Once you can plainly see the strings that these apps are pulling, well, you can start to cut them. State regulators might offer these weak, tiny, responsible gaming pop-ups, but true protection? That requires you to proactively build your own defenses.
And the very first step in building your defense is exposing the math. Betting apps are meticulously designed to make your money feel like abstract points on a screen. You have to shatter that illusion. So open your betting app settings. Go find the section to download your full lifetime betting history. Then, I want you to brutally and honestly compare your total lifetime deposits against your total lifetime withdrawals. Do not just rely on your memory of that one big win you had last October. Confront the raw, undeniable math of your losses. Seeing the absolute truth right there in black and white is incredibly grounding.
Next up, you need to artificially reconstruct the friction that your smartphone erased. Essentially, you have to make it annoying to gamble. Go into your phone and remove all your saved credit cards and payment methods from your digital wallet. Force yourself to get up and actually find your physical wallet if you want to deposit money. Then go into your settings and turn off absolutely all gambling push notifications. Silence the AI completely. And start practicing a strict rule. Whenever you feel the sudden urge to bet, delay it by exactly 10 minutes. Finally, break the secrecy. Tell just one trusted person what you're dealing with. Because secrecy is the oxygen that bad habits breathe.
Keep this firm principle in mind going forward. Small friction can save large money. Small awareness can stop large damage. You really don't need to hate the concept of gambling to beat this. And you definitely don't need to rely purely on willpower because honestly, willpower depletes over a long day. You simply need the radical honesty to understand exactly how this software is designed to exploit you and the practical tools to protect yourself from the algorithm. Even just a 10-minute delay gives your logical brain the crucial time it needs to step in and override your emotional impulse.
And that, ultimately, is the absolute core of our philosophy here. Control your emotions, control your outcomes. Mastering your internal emotional state is the ultimate, undeniable weapon against external digital manipulation. When you stop reacting blindly to boredom, when you stop seeking digital relief from real-world stress, and when you finally silence those manipulative AI notifications, the casino in your pocket loses all its power over you. You become the one calling the shots in your own life again.
So I want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about today. Will you let a frictionless app dictate your daily habits and drain your accounts? Or will you actively build the friction needed to take your life back? Because the choice is in your hands, not the algorithms. If you found value in this explainer today, please go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Mind Over Odds channel. We have plenty more insights coming to help you understand the psychology of betting and regain your focus. Until next time, stay aware and take care of your mind.